بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this bounty and this ni'mat of time. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Allah has taken an oath on time that all of mankind is at loss except those that follow my criteria and come onto my commands and follow my way of life and my system. If you follow the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there'll be barakah and there'll khair and there'll be afiyah and there'll be goodness. وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرُ وَأَبْقَى. The akhirat is the place to work for, that is worthwhile, that is everlasting. As it is said, al-waqtu kas-sayf. Time is a sword. If you do not cut it, it will cut you, it will shred you in pieces. Al-waqtu min dhahab. Time is gold, is of value. If you do not find this gold, ذهب الوقت, then this time will go and you lose it. Al-waqtu kanzun. Time is a treasure. If you waste it, you will get wasted. Al-waqtu kalma. It is like water. If you don't drink it, it will swallow you, it will drown you, and it will destroy you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. When you have finished, devote yourself to Allah's worship. According to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhuma, بَعْدَ فَرَاغِكَ مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ, that after a person finishes all his worship, there's still more worship. Riwayat of Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anh, that fansab fi dua. So even if a person is engaged in dini activities, we are moving from one activity to another activity. Dhahak mentions فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ مِنَ الْجِهَادِ fansab fil ibadah. Even if you're striving in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're doing a great amal, then still too we have to engage ourselves in Allah's worship. So a believer moves from one amal to another. So when we are making dua, Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban, that Allah give us barakah. Barakah is in time, so we can increase and we can inculcate good sifat and qualities and excel in worship, in ibadah. So Allama ibn Kathir used to say, Man sabaka fi hadhihi dunya wa sabaqa ila al-khair كان في الآخرة من السابقين إلى الكرامة. Whoever surpasses and excels in good deeds in dunya, they definitely will excel in akhirat. فإن الجزاء من جنس العمل. Because according to how you do, so will be the fruits. As you do, those as you plant, so you will harvest. So what we do in this dunya, Allama ibn Taymiyyah used to say, Al-Jannatu darajat, that the Jannah has stages. Mutafadila, tafadulan aziman. There are great statuses in akhirah, and the discrepancy, the difference in each stage is great. It's of great magnitude. But the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-mu'minun al-muttaqun fi tilka darajat bihasabi imanihim wa taqwahim, that based on your iman and your taqwa will you excel in the year after. Imam Shafi rahmatullah used to say, وَإِذَا لَمْ تَشْغَلْ نَفْسَكَ بِالْحَقِّ, if you do not engage your nafs in haqq, shagalatka bil-batil, then this nafs will engage you in the wrong things. So if you're not going to engage and utilize your time in avenues of good, then the circumstances and consequences is it will be engaged in the wrong avenues. Sheikh Ali At-Tantawi rahmatullahi say, I have read over 70 years different resources and have not found such wisdom in this one statement. And what was that statement? That mashaqqatu ta'at, the difficulties, the hardships in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tadhhab wa yabqa thawabuha, that the difficulties will come to end one day, but the rewards will remain eternally. The rewards will remain eternally. وَلَذَّةُ الْمَعَاسِي تَذْهَبْ, the enjoyment, the ecstasy, the pleasure of guna will go one day. وَيَبْقَى إِقَابُهَا, but its punishment will remain eternally and perpetually. So we have to decide, we want to fill our life with good deeds or evil deeds, and this time is the container. A Sahabi came to the Nabi of Allah and said, Ya Rasulullah, ayyun nasi khair, who's the best of people? He said, Man ta'ala umruhu wa hasuna amalu, that person whose life is long but it is filled with good deeds. And the worst person is who has a long life but it is filled with evil and bad actions. Tasaddaqu qabla alla tasaddaqu, give charity, engage in reward good deeds before a time will come where you will not be having the luxury and the opportunity to engage in good. لا تحقرن شيئا من الصدقة ولو بشق تمرة, do not think any amal to be insignificant, even if it is a date, a piece of kajur. فاتقوا النار ولو بشق تمرة, fear the fire of Jahannam, even if it may be given in charity, one date, one kajur. So these are all bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to be checking ourselves. How are we utilizing this time? اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس, or كما قال, value 5 things and utilize it properly before 5. Number 1, حياتك قبل موتك, that value your life before death. وصحتك قبل سقمك, and your health before sickness. وفراغك قبل شغلك, your free time before engagement. وشبابك قبل حرمك, your youth before old age. وغناك قبل فقرك, and your wealth, the bounty of Allah. Allah has made a person wealthy before poverty comes. So these are all bounties and they will depart one day. While we have this time, now the month of Ramadan is around the corner. We need to be preparing like a miner who has a gold mine. He has a business plan, he has a mining plan, so that he will maximize and get to the gold the fastest and get to the biggest resources of gold. Ramadan is not gold, it's not platinum, it's not diamonds. It's more valuable than all the combined treasures on earth. So we need to value, we need to understand the importance of this time, this amana which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And that's why on the day of Qiyamah, كَأَنَّهُمْ يَوْمَ يَرَوْنَهَا لَمْ يَلْبَثُوا إِلَّا عَشِيَّةً أَوْ ضُحَاهَا, that when people will ask, Kam labithum, that how much time have you lived on this earth, they will say, Labithna yawman aw ba'da yawm, we lived for one day, a portion of the day, Ashiya in the afternoon, or Duha morning, one portion of the day. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says, as for Ashiya, it is the time between noon until the setting of the sun, or Duhaha, between sunrise and midday. People will consider, according to Qadada, people will consider the period of their worldly life when compared to Akhirat as if it is so insignificant, so small, so minute time, that they will consider the entire life just a portion of the day. Sa'ah, a few moments. نعم ما اتجرتم به في يوم أو بعد يوم. That those people on the day of Qiyamah will be told that they said we lived like a day, Ya Allah, just a portion of the day. Allah will say, how fortunate you are for that day or portion of the day. How fortunate, it is worth a lot. It is not invaluable. It is very valuable. Why? You have achieved Rahmati, my mercy, wa Ridwani, my pleasure, wa Jannati, and my Jannah. Stay in there, fiha khalidina. Stay in Jannah forever and ever. This will be told to the Jannatis. ثم يقول لأهل النار. Then the Jahannamis will be addressed. كم لبثتم في الأرض. How long have you resided on this earth? They will say, لبثنا يوما أو بعد يوم. We stayed for a day or a portion of the day. It will be said, بئس ما اتجرتم في يوم أو بعد يوم. That what a bad transaction. How unprofitable your transaction was. What a loss for a day or a portion of the day. You have achieved sakhati, my anger, wa ma'asiyati, my disobedience, wa nari, and my adhab, and my punishment, and the fire of Jahannam. Staying there in Jahannam, khalidina fiha, forever and ever and ever. They will make dua that, Ya Rabbana, O Allah, take us out. We will make tawbah, we will repent. If we return back to this, فَإِنَّا ظَالِمُونَ, then we are of the oppressors. It will be told that remain forever in them and keep quiet. Keep quiet, be silent. So Sahaba had this jazba to utilize the time properly. Nabi alayhi salam asked Sahaba, Man asba minkum al-yawm sa'iman, who's fasting? Abu Bakr said, I am fasting. فَمَنْ تَبِعَ مِنْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ جَنَازَةً, who followed a janazah? Abu Bakr again, radiyallahu an. فَمَنْ أَطْعَمَ مِنْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ مِسْكِينًا, who fed a needy person? Again Abu Bakr. مَنْ عَادَ مِنْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ مَرِيضًا, again Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, I visited the sick. Nabi alayhi salam then said, مَجْتَمَعْنَا فِي أَمْرٍ إِلَّا دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ. مَجْتَمَعْنَا فِي أَمْرٍ, any of these qualities which are in anybody, that's a sign that he's a Jannati. So we need to maximize on this time. This is a month, اختص الله أربعة أشهر. These 4 months are the Mubarak months and the blessed months. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called them the months of forbidden things. Amongst the forbidden things is to commit guna. And why it is called that? Amongst the different names, it's called that because at that time also qital and jihad initially was haram. In the Ayyam Jahiliyyah, it was known that war and battle will not take place during the months of Sharh al-Hurum. Likewise, it is said that it was from the time of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Another opinion also is that amongst the Arabs, Hajj and Umrah was a famous thing. So preparing for Hajj, Dhul Hijjah, and before that people need to travel, Dhul Qa'dah, and then returning from Hajj, Muharram, and then the month that was left to do an Umrah and to see the Baytullah was the month of Rajab. So people used to go to Makkah to Al-Mukarramah to perform the Umrah. And initially Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made it forbidden to fight. لا تحلوا شعائر الله ولا الشهر الحرام. So it was forbidden. Then ayat were revealed. يسألونك عن الشهر الحرام قتال فيه. So when these ayat were revealed, then ulama explained about the incident where somebody was killed and they were not sure whether it was in the month of Rajab or Jumad al-Ukhra. So the mushrikun, the disbelievers, told the Muslims, قَتَلْتُمْ فِي الشَّهْرِ الْحَرَامِ, that you people harm somebody in the month of haram. So these ayat were revealed. Yas'alunaka ani shahril haram. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was admonishing the disbelievers that whatever you people are doing, O mushrikeen, akbaru min al-qatli fi shahril haram. That when you did kufr and you associate partners with Allah, and when you disobeyed Allah, and when you prevented Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Sahaba, then this is worse than killing anybody in these days. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clarified the situation and made it clear that your actions are worse, so do not point on to Sahaba. As for the ulama, there's a difference of opinion whether qital in war is permissible in these months or was it abrogated. So a majority consensus of the ulama is that it has been made permissible and its forbiddenness has been abrogated. Likewise, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal and other Imam have clarified this point and they are of this opinion as well. So the proof they have given was that Sahaba radiallahu anhum engaged after Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's departure in conquering many cities, and qital and jihad took place, and it's not mentioned anywhere where they had stopped fighting and taking jihad and taking cities. So this was a clear dalil. Likewise for Rajab there are 14 names: Shahrullah, Rajab, Mudar, from the tribe Mudar. Likewise Asam comes from Rajab. Why? Because you do not hear the weapons or the clashing of the battlefield, and that's why it's called Asam. Likewise Asab, different names. Some ulama have mentioned 17 names for Rajab and mentioned the significance for that. As for slaughtering animals, it was a habit in Jahiliyyah to slaughter animals, but Islam had come to wipe out that habit and that custom which was amongst the Arabs. La fara' wa la atira. So Shariat has come to abrogate all customs and to bring Deen Khalis. So although it was the habit in the time of Jahiliyyah, some ulama of the opinion that it is permissible, like different riwayat have been mentioned, but amongst the ulama they are of the opinion that it is better. Abdullah Mubarak bin Fadala, etc., they say laysa fil Islam atira, that this was a custom in a time of Jahiliyyah, and we should not imitate them in any actions. And slaughtering of animals is the Eid of a believer. So in these days of Eid, where we celebrate, is the day in the Ayyam of Dhul Hijjah, where we slaughter and make qurbani. So whatever Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam has encouraged us, Ata رحمة الله عليه mentioned قال كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ينهى عن صيام رجب كله لئلا يتخذ عيدا. So likewise fasting has also been forbidden and has been not encouraged generally from the majority of the ulama also. They have not encouraged fasting likewise. So not slaughtering, not fasting. لا تتخذوا شهرا عيدا ولا يوما عيدا. We shouldn't make any month Eid except the month which Allah has stipulated, nor any day for Eid. Then the masla of Salah, that in Rajab there is no khas special Salah that should be kept, and if permission was given for fasting, then the ulama have said that normally there's no special fast from Nabi alayhi salam, no Sahaba. And Umar radiallahu anhu used to beat people who were fasting in the month of Rajab, and he used to say, Ma Rajab inna Rajaban kana yu'azzimuhu ahlul jahiliyyah. The people of Jahiliyyah used to honor Rajab. And he said, فَلَمَّا كَانَ الْإِسْلَامِ تُرِكَ. When Islam came, it became abrogated. And kuriha yakuna siyamu sunnah. And we should not be fasting in these days. Some ulama have said a person who is habitual of fasting the entire year, for him it will be fine. Otherwise we shouldn't be. Likewise zakat, people have made it a habit to give zakat in Rajab. Wala asla lidhalika, there's nothing mentioned. Only if a person has a routine and a year terminates during Rajab, otherwise ideally we should do it in Ramadan, and that's an occasion where amal are multiplied. Even though it's a fard, it will still be meritorious. So a person should stipulate the zakah period and give the zakah when the time comes in. Likewise, Umrah, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to say that Nabi alayhi salam made Umrah in Rajab, and some ulama have said that it is mustahab to do Umrah in Rajab, like Umar ibn Khattab, etc. Aisha radiallahu anha, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to do it also. Likewise, Ibn Sirin and some of the Salaf and Mashayikh. So they say like Hajj should be done in those days as well. And Umrah should be done separately besides the Ayyam of Hajj. So if a person can do it in Rajab as well, then permission has been given and it may be meritorious as well. So this is an opportunity. These are the times. Let us maximize on this time. Let us utilize our time properly and see how we can spend these last few days before Ramadan properly, so that when Ramadan kicks in, then we take the maximum value. The amal for today is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when a calamity comes, قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Then a person who is befallen with a calamity, if he says Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, and he submits to the command of Allah, فَاسْتَرْجَعْ عِنْدَ الْمُصِيبَةِ, and he says these words, كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَهُ ثَلَاثَ خِصَالٍ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ, 3 benefits: as-salat min Allah, bounties from Allah, wa-rahmah, and mercy, wa-tahqiqa sabil al-huda, and he will attain guidance on the straight path. Likewise, man istarja'a inda al-musiba, jabarallahu musibatahu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace what he lost. Wa ahsana aqbahu, Allah will make a good outcome of his matter. Wa ja'ala lahu khalafan yardahu, and Allah will give him something in return, and Allah will replace it, and Allah will make him pleased with it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq of making amal. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.